You are expecting him to give you what he can't give you. You're burdening him. If you couldn't give yourself that acceptance, that adoration, that love, and whatnot, what makes you think it's fair to expect it from another human being? Logically, it doesn't make any sense. That is why men run away. They might not even understand why they're running away. That is the real reason why. And that is why men tend to gravitate to women that are borderline narcissistic, or I don't know, women that are if they don't gravitate to healthy women, they tend to gravitate to the self-centered women, right? I'm not promoting that, but I'm just saying the reason why that happens is because at least that woman gives herself that, like she doesn't put that responsibility on another human being. She gives herself the validation, she gives herself the love, the acceptance, and she expects everyone else to treat her at the standard that she has placed. So that's the attractive energy that makes the men find themselves drawn to those kind of women. You're wondering why men tend to leave the nice girl, or the I don't know, the women that are constantly doing so much for them yet pouring very little into themselves. So vice versa, the same is it's the same for men. Men, if you are experiencing chronic relationships where women abandon you and they treat you badly, chances are it's because you abandon yourself, you treat yourself badly, you reject yourself. So now that woman can sense that you reject yourself. So as a result, she starts to energetically also feel like, okay, now, why do you reject yourself? So chances are there's nothing for me to love thee or like thee. And then she runs away. So basically, the formula to ending the cycle of constantly experiencing these toxic relational dynamics in your family and friendships and romantic relationships is simply to. So, no matter which part of the world you go, it sounds like begging for love, acceptance, and validation has become a pandemic. What we see today is a world where both men and women are constantly chasing after love. And once they find the source of the thing that they believe, or person that they believe they're going to get that feeling of love and validation and self worth from, it ends up just crushing. Your hopes crush because maybe you thought you're going to get that love and acceptance and validation from having an amazing job, an amazing title, an amazing marriage, an amazing kid. But then you have all of those things and still realize that I'm not okay. I still don't feel loved. I still don't feel worthy. I still don't feel enough. So then, if that is the cycle that we are constantly experiencing today, what is the solution? Why is it that women in every country complain about the same thing? Why is it that men in every country complain about the same thing? Clearly, there's a lesson that life wants to teach everybody that we all have to embody. And this video is going to be talking about that exactly. If you find yourself in a pattern where you're constantly chasing after love and validation and acceptance, but you feel like you're never getting it and you're constantly pouring into people, into things, but you're not quite yet able to get that love reciprocated, then this video is for you. Instead of you continuing the same cycle, trying to get the same thing from a different person or a different job or a different kid or a different country, maybe you thought of relocating and you feel like maybe if I relocate, that's what's going to solve the problem. Please just spare me a few minutes. If you are to watch this video, you will be able to understand why it doesn't stop. Like, why does that cycle continue in people's lives? So, I have a background in clinical psychology and psychotherapy, and just from general life uh, understanding and experiences, I will be able to share with you exactly why is it that people experience those patterns, right? Why is it that no matter how much you pour into others, there's usually no guarantee that you're going to get back the same energy, the same investment? Why? And is the solution pouring more into other people? Or is something better that you can do? So I hope you're ready because this video is really going to be enlightening. So, first of all, what we need to understand is that we all have a void. Every human being on this planet has a void, and that void can only be filled by God, right? Like your creator. Only He can fill that void. But also, finding God means that you get to find yourself. And by finding yourself, you get to understand your worth. And when you understand your worth, you're able to know exactly what is meant for you and what is not meant for you. You're able to accept and fall in love with yourself. So, since there is a disconnect between us and our Creator God, there is automatically a disconnect between the love that you're looking for and the love that you are currently experiencing. So, first of all, I'm going to make it simple. So, that's like the deeper reason why there's this struggle and chase after love. We're looking for our source, basically. That's all it is about. But ultimately, there's also something that we can do, something that we have to learn about ourselves in that whole dynamic. And that thing is that we are actually looking for love from someone specific. And by now, you should have already guessed who that person is. When you see yourself desperately chasing for love and acceptance and a validation from things and other people, there's only one place that you're actually hoping to get that validation from, that acceptance and love from. And that place is exactly yourself. You are looking for yourself. That is the truth. So, what happens is that because people, human beings, or we sometimes struggle to love and accept and validate ourselves, we try to impose that responsibility on another person. We expect other people to accept us. We expect other people to love us. We expect other people to validate us. So, what you end up getting into is a transactional, energetic uh, interaction with other people, right? A transactional relationship, to make it simple, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. So when you're pouring into other people, it's not just done from a pure place of, oh, I'm a loving person, I point to people. No, it really happens from that place. It's often coming from the fact that you want love, you want acceptance, you want validation. And what you are doing is you're trying to pose that responsibility to someone else because you have failed to do it for yourself. Let that soak in, like it has to soak in. The reason why people pour so much into other people, we find it difficult to do it for ourselves. So the shortcut that people take is to pour into other people to avoid taking on the responsibility of facing ourselves, to avoid taking the responsibility of accepting that actually there is parts of myself that I've been running away from. And I want to accept those parts that I'm struggling to. And somehow I still want that to happen. Like I have to love myself, I have to accept myself. I just want to be accepted. So that's why you'd find it easy that it's so easy to fall in love with anyone that accepts you. Because what you're actually falling in love with is not the person themselves. You're falling in love with the feeling of being accepted and validated and loved for who you are holistically. So that feeling, you got it from that person, but actually you are just you're just looking for that from yourself, but you failed to do it for yourself. So what people do is that they get into this relationship. All of us at some point, all of us, everyone, I'm sure every human being at some point. We do it to our families, we do it to our siblings, we do it to our friends, we do it to our spouses, right? We get into this transactional relationship with them where we expect them to do for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. The shadow work that you didn't do for you, you expect another person to do it for you. Shadow work is the process of looking at the parts of yourself that you hide away from, that you are ashamed of, and learning to integrate them or accept them or learn from them and evolve as a better human being. So, the reason why people suffer so much in relationships is that they fail to be honest with themselves. So we fail to be honest with ourselves that actually I'm using the people in my life to do for me what I am running away from doing for myself. I'm using my family, my friends, my spouse to give me what I am not willing to give myself. Because think about it, looking at the closet is not fancy, right? There's skeletons in the closet. Opening that can, chances are there's worms, and nobody wants to look into that. So, looking into the parts of ourselves that we reject for all sorts of reasons, it's not a pleasant process. It's hard. It's got tears in it. Ugh. It's it's not easy. So that's why we end up taking the shortcut of speaking about it in indirect ways. So instead of you saying to yourself and being honest with yourself that I'm struggling to accept myself, you start to say, I'm struggling to get love and be treated well by other people. But the person that you are actually struggling the most from is yourself. You are struggling to treat yourself well. You are struggling to give yourself the acceptance that you're supposed to be giving yourself. So if you ever find yourself in any relationship where you feel powerless and at the mercy of other people, and you feel like you're constantly begging for acceptance from people or love or validation, that is an indication of the fact that you haven't given yourself that very thing that you are expecting from other people. So the healing doesn't come from someone now giving you those things. That's giving away your power. And sadly, that is what a lot of people do. Hmm. Women give men power. They It's so sad. It's like because we fail to accept ourselves, we end up like waiting for validation from men. But actually, those men sense it subconsciously or consciously and they run away. The reason why he's running away is because you are expecting him to give you something that is not his place to give you in the first place. You are expecting him to give you what he can't give you. You're burdening him. If you couldn't give yourself that acceptance, that adoration, that love and whatnot, what makes you think it's fair to expect it from another human being? Logically, it doesn't make any sense. That is why men run away. They might not even understand why they're running away. That is the real reason why, and that is why men tend to gravitate to women that are borderline narcissistic, or I don't know, women that are if they don't gravitate to healthy women, they tend to gravitate to the self-centered women, right? I'm not promoting that, but I'm just saying the reason why that happens is because at least that woman gives herself that. Like she doesn't put that responsibility on another human being. She gives herself the validation. She gives herself the love, the acceptance, and she expects everyone else to treat her at the standard that she has placed. So that's the attractive energy that makes the men find themselves drawn to those kind of women. You're wondering why men tend to leave the nice girl or the I don't know, the women that are constantly doing so much for them yet pouring very little into themselves. So vice versa, the same is it's the same for men. Men, if you are experiencing chronic relationships where women abandon you and they treat you badly, chances are it's because you abandon yourself, you treat yourself badly, you reject yourself. So now that woman can sense that you reject yourself. So as a result, she starts to energetically also feel like, okay, now, why do you reject yourself? So chances are there's nothing for me to love there or like there. And then she runs away. So basically, the formula to ending the cycle of constantly experiencing these toxic relational dynamics in your family and friendships and romantic relationships is simply to come back to yourself. Stop running away from the responsibility of working on yourself, the responsibility of learning to love and respect and honor and adore and accept and validate yourself. And once you give yourself that, then anything else that comes from outside you, it's an extra, it's a bonus. You don't need it. That's how we get out of the needy energy. You know that needy energy that you can sense when someone wants something from you? That energy is very repelling. So the solution to us actually having healthy relationships and really having authentic and pure connections is to learn to accept ourselves first, love ourselves first, and that can be done through shadow work. I'm not saying just feel like this week I'm feeling like, oh, now I love myself. No, it's a process. It's a healing process where you get into a journey of looking into those parts that you reject about yourself, asking yourself, why do I reject these parts? What have I believed about them? So it's a process of basically like getting rid of the lies that you told yourself and replacing them with the truth. That is what it means to heal. And automatically, because there's laws in this universe, gravity, um, automatically, if you are now vibrating at that frequency where you have accepted yourself, you love yourself, you're not looking for validation, doing all kinds of things just to get people to approve of you, then everything comes to you. Everything, literally. The jobs that used to reject you, they start to like come flying to you. Yeah, I hope it's the right job that you applied for that you deserve. But basically, the principle is you attract what you are. If you are so yes, basically the principle is the same. If you constantly reject yourself, you will attract life experiences where you meet people that are chronically also rejecting you. But if you shift into really coming back to yourself, accepting yourself, loving yourself, adoring yourself, then automatically you're also going to start attracting people and experiences that mirror that same frequency where you are vibrating at. So there's no running away. If you've been running away from doing the work of loving and accepting yourself, this is a sign that now it's time to actually get into that work because, like I shared in this video, you can continue the chase. You can try to take the shortcuts. You can try to chase after people, but ultimately, energy is one thing that we cannot cheat. So it will bite you, and you will pay the price for rejecting yourself and not working on learning to accept yourself. The price usually comes in the form of you now experiencing chronic rejection from other people, no matter how much you pour into them. The price you will pay for not accepting yourself, not loving yourself, is you experiencing chronic disappointment because what you cannot give yourself, no one else is able to give it to you except God. But ultimately, He also wants you to learn to accept yourself so that you can be able to be this fountain has abundance. And when you are giving, then it should come from a place of abundance, not a place of manipulative energy where you're trying to get something because you yourself are avoiding giving yourself that very thing. So thank you so much for being with me in this video. I am so delighted to have you here. If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. I post a lot of holistic content about healing, lifestyle, as well as really enjoying every little bit of our lives. So I help people live beautiful lives by having a beautiful mindset. And if you are someone that loves study playlists, you're also going to find them on this channel. I'm excited to see you and post in the comments what your thoughts are. I would love to hear about your experiences and please feel free to let me know what kind of video you'd like to expect in the next lesson that I'm going to be talking about. So feel free to share your ideas and if you really enjoyed this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think and maybe just comment, I choose me as a sign that you have made that commitment just from watching this video to at least start trying. So thank you guys. Love you lots and I'll see you soon. Bye.